Hey guys, and welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host Maverick. Today we're watching the first episode of Redo of Healer. So, words of caution first, viewer discretion is definitely advised here. So if you are, still quite a young child, or you are more, let's say, morally / politically correct, you can't really stomach the dark side of things, if you will, I highly suggest that you maybe give this series a skip, right? So don't say that you weren't warned. This is definitely not for the not for those who can't stomach some pretty effed up stuff, right? In fact, I think this might be a video where I can just go ahead and swear, because believe me, none of it is going to be as fucked up as what's going to happen in the anime. All right, so but if you are here, and if you're here for the first time, just to give a quick introduction to all my videos, I like to talk a little bit more outside of the main reaction anyways. So I always divide my videos into 3 parts. I'll have an introduction at the beginning, my blind reaction in the middle, and then finally, to follow it up, I will have my what I call musings section, where I talk a little bit more about the episode, the series. I like to do a deep dive into the mechanics or the world building that series does, especially for this one, which is actually quite I wouldn't really say unique, but it's quite interesting the way that the world is set up in this one. So I will touch a little bit more on that as we get into it as well. And so you guys might have noticed that I already know some stuff about this particular anime, and that is true. So while I typically like to do my reactions blind, this is actually a series where I have already read some of it before, and that is why I was really surprised that this actually got a mainstream anime adaptation, right? I mean, it is quite popular, don't get me wrong, but it's just not exactly a work that I thought would actually get the green light to be adapted into a series. Why do I say this? Well, remember Shield Hero guys, like Naofumi and so on and so forth? Back in that series, I was actually getting a lot of flack when I said that, I don't really see what Naofumi is making such a big deal about. Like, why is he suddenly so distrusting of the world of humanity, just because he got into some pretty bad situations, right? And at the time I got lots of furious comments like, oh, how can it be like this now, Fumi? It's so sad, and so, etc. Like, I mean, for those people, you definitely, I say, probably would consider skipping this series, because this is a situation where even I say, okay, this is actually pretty messed up, right? So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I do love a good revenge story, okay? Let me get that out of the way first. And whilst, various different sides, both the protagonist and the antagonist, are doing some really questionable things, at the end of the day, it is fantasy. Don't get yourself worked up too much about it. Just enjoy the show and know that it's not real. Alright, so that's pretty much all the advice I can offer for now, without spoiling anything. I mean, this first episode is gonna be a blast. Now, with that being said, I do have my reservations about this series, right? Not for its source material, but just precisely because of its source material. I don't exactly have a lot of confidence in them doing this adaptation, right? They might focus a little bit too much on the ecchi parts, and by ecchi, I mean, yeah, really all the way kind of ecchi. More so than the, pretty interesting revenge story that they have going on there, and the pretty epic backstory to it all, actually. And not to mention, it is being made by a relatively more low-key studio, TNK, which did do High School D&D, to be fair, so they got that going for them. But the voice actresses, the voice actors, a lot of them are actually fairly new, or fairly unrecognized within the industry, and the same goes for the director and sound director as well. So I do hope that they actually properly adapt the series, give it the treatment it deserves, although I guess people can argue that as well. But in any case, I'm not quite sure if I will make this into a series, because as much as I do find this series interesting, I don't really want to watch a work that has been butchered in its adaptation, right? So, no promises yet, but at the very least, we gotta get into the first one and see what is up. So, with that being said, let's get right into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, hey, they did it for me already. Viewer discretion is advised. They are not kidding, guys. Okay, starting off right. That's the main character, by the way. Oh, starting with the opening first. All right. I mean, honestly, if you couldn't get the implications of what was happening in the first few scenes, well, that's pretty much what this series is about, alright? Well, no, sorry, I can't really say that. I should say that's definitely a big part of this series. I mean, it seems. Alright, never mind. Like I said, no spoilers. No spoilers. Like I said, the smile on and the eyes of the main character should again be major hints on to how the series is actually going to go. But hey. Yeah. I almost forgot about the beginnings of this series. Yeah, it's kind of coming back to me. Yeah, definitely not a. I don't know. The faces kind of look weird to me, but again, let's see. Let's see. Now, actually, even though I have already read this series before, I actually didn't go that far into it. So, there are lots of things that I don't know about as well. Still unanswered questions, so on and so forth. On the eye. Bye! Yeah. In case it wasn't obvious, this is like another, you know, another time. Actually, whoa, not bad, not bad, actually. I am biting my tongue so hard right now. Yeesh. Boom. Ah.
その能力は文字通り怪我人の回復、ヒールすること。しかしヒールには致命的な欠点があった。癒した相手の経験すべてが一瞬で俺に流れ込んでくる。想像を絶する苦痛と恐怖。まともな神経では耐えられない。事実、俺は逃げ出した。ヒールを使いたくなく。
Right, so basically all the fear and, you know, what the pain and whatnot. They. See, this is what I was kind of afraid of. That they never. Are they really going to skip all this? Please tell me no. Ah, bye bye. So, first little clue here. Copy. Right? And you're like, huh? Why is healing magic able to kill stuff? Eh. Right? So, like, reverse healing, basically. Just like cold is the absence of heat.
勇者ケアル、父、いえ、王も喜びますわ。
エリクサーを隠し持っていたのか。
その宝石は魔王の呪いがかけられていて危険です。術の勇者たる私が預かりましょう。
賢者の石。
あら、物知りですのね。魔王の心臓にそんな名前がついていたなんて。
あんたたちがこの賢者の石を使って禁獣を行い、世界征服なんて馬鹿げた妄想を実現しようとしていることも知っている。
So basically, if it isn't obvious by now, you know, that group isn't exactly the best of people either.
俺はこの力でヒールを使う。どうしても癒したいものがあるんだ。
癒したいもの？
この腐った世界をヒールして、あんたと出会う前からやり直す。
そんなこと、できたとしてもあなたの記憶も全部消えるわよ。また同じ人生を繰り返すだけ。
すべて消え去ってもこの痛みは絶対に忘れない。俺が俺じゃなくなった絶望、苦しみ、すべて魂に刻み込んだ。時間が巻き戻され記憶を失っても消えはしない。
Right, the pain and anguish,
やり直してまた出会ったら、今度はお前の
even transpiring through reincarnation.
やり直した世界でお前が俺をどう呼ぶか楽しみにしておくよ。ヒール
Woohoo! Ooh. Okay, okay. That was pretty nice.
そうだったのか。自分を取り戻したよ。ありがとう。神羅万象を見通す翡翠眼。俺の復讐がここから。
Hey. Oh, now that I think about it, I think, yeah, I think, I think what actually happens is that we get into a retelling of the events later on. I can't quite remember now, but I remember it happened quite early on, so maybe once he meets Flair again.
誕生日が来て、俺は一周目の人生と同じく勇者に選ばれた。ステータスも予定通り回復術師だ。俺は薬物耐性をつけるため、麻薬効果のある植物やキノコを食いまくった。フレアに薬漬けにされて自我をなくしてしまったら、前回の人生と同じことになるからだ。
All I can say is mine has nothing on this lady.
私はジオラル王国第一王女、術の勇者フレアール・グランデ・ジオラルです。今日はこの村に誕生した新しい勇者を迎えに来ました。一体誰なの？
Yes, you!
あなたが私の仲間ですね。ケアルが？
俺が勇者。
Nice acting skills.
ケアル、おめでとう。おめでとう、ケアル。さあ、共に力を合わせてこの世界を魔王の脅威から救いましょう。
Woo!
さすがはフレア直属だけのことはある。隊長のレナードをはじめ全員大した能力だ。
ケアルさん、
あ、いや、俺が勇者だなんて実感が湧かないです。
心配はいりません。私が先輩勇者としていろいろ教えて差し上げます。
ありがとうございます、王女様。
それから私に敬語を使う必要はありません。私とあなたは勇者。
Laying the charm on.
わかりました。わかった。
それでいいのですわ。
奪い、しかも生き残りを奴隷にして作り上げたものだ。この美しい街はまるでフレアそのものだね。
嬉しい。私の自慢の街なんです。この街を、そしてみんなの笑顔を守るために私たちは戦っているんです。
By the way, you guys, I feel like this is definitely something that it's a little hint here, but you guys remember back then when Keyaru got his ability, his eyes. One thing he said was, you know, this vision grants me to see statuses of all things, even their true names. That is definitely important.
鑑定士によると、お主のクラスは回復術士だ。それは我が国が最も求めていたもの。力の目覚めを嬉しく思うぞ。そなたには癒しの勇者の称号を与えよう。
ありがたき幸せ。このケアル、これより癒しの勇者と名乗りましょう。
勇者の力ならば、牽制を癒すこともできるやもしれぬ。
牽制ですか？
うん。権威だけであればあの剣の勇者すら上回る存在だが、先日、包囲の魔族を倒した際に右腕を持っていかれてな。
かしこまりました。私の力、この国に捧げましょう。
いい心がけだ。下がっていいぞ。
教養、礼儀作法、剣術。勇者も楽じゃないな。知ってたけど。で、そろそろ。
Yep.
何？何を？
勇者様、抱いてください。
やめて、やめてよ。
怖がらなくていいんですよ。さあ、身を委ねて。
See, like right like that. Honestly, look at. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to wait for the Blu-ray version to.
勇者とやれば自分の能力を超えて強くなれるか。まあ、俺も最初は喜んだんだけどな。さて、ヒール。略奪のヒールでお前の経験値をいただいた。これから毎晩日替わりでメイドたちがやってくる。その経験値も抱き放題のいただき放題。
Okay, I guess we're just gonna enjoy the PowerPoint slideshow now.
牽制が城に来るまでに必要な経験値を得ておかなければな。数日が経った。だいぶ知識も得られたし、夜の方も楽しませてもらった。そして牽制クレハ・クライレットが城にやってきた。
あなたが癒しの勇者ケアル様ね。
はい、出会えて光栄です。牽制クレハ・クライレット様。
お願いするわ。
頑張ります。復讐のためにやり直す。人生の最後に勝利するために。行くぞ。ヒール。
Yeah, but that is seriously OP, isn't it? As a healing power.
奇跡。奇跡よ。これでまた戦える。ありがとうケアル。あなた大丈夫？
これは大変だ。癒しの勇者様を治療せねば。
しかし、クレハはその腕を王や皆様に。
Yeah, they absolutely knew what will happen.
剣を再び与えてくれてありがとう。この恩は忘れない。牽制クレハ・クライレットの全能力を持って、いずれ恩は返すから。 取り柄のヒールすらろくに使えないなんて、これはダメね。
いいえ、フレア王女、これはすごいですぞ。この男が使ったのはただのヒールではない。本来のヒールでは人体が自力で治せる傷しか治せない。しかしこの男のは違う。調べたい。これを解明できれば私は。
ならこれを使えるようにすることね。ヒールを使うたびに気絶されたんじゃ何の役にも立たないから。薬だろうが洗脳だろうが何でもいいわ。戦場でヒールが使えて役に立つようにすること。その結果壊れようがどうなろうが構いません。
フレアはたった1回のヒールで俺に見切りをつけやがった。よくわかったよ。
まったく、こんな使えないクズ犬ごときが私と同じ勇者だと思うと虫唾が走りますわ。
本当にありがとうフレア。1周目と変わらず正真正銘のクズでいてくれ。
Well, what did you expect?
何のためらいもなく。
By the way, guys, don't go on hating her too fast, alright? We're already at the ending? Yeah, because if it isn't obvious, she's all still kind of important. Huh. Is this ending sang by the voice actresses? Oh, no. It's by a kind of project. Okay. I mean, we gotta have a shot with the heroines, right? Eh. And you know, since we already see what happened with Keyaru and the maids, should be pretty obvious by now that this is definitely not a series where the protagonist is afraid to do anything. Wait, really? That's it? And now we're in the... Oh, alright. Well, I guess I'll just see you guys after this. Alrighty, that was the first episode of Redo of Healer, and I gotta say, it was definitely a lot more tame than I was expecting. But then again, I'm not too surprised as well, because I was wondering whether or not they would tone down the, negativity and darkness for the anime. Now, with that being said, I have to say, my memory is a little bit fuzzy. Maybe it only gets into the nitty-gritty details later on, like in episode 2 or 3 or something like that. But, you know, I do recall that it happened fairly early on in the series, where we got to know, you know, exactly what happened. And to me, that's why this series has kept on leaving such a big impact on me, right? Because when I read through those initial chapters and whatnot, I was like, holy shit, this is so messed up, right? And not only that, but they really focused on they really focused on Keyaru's you know, what he was going through, right? The hatred that was burning within him whilst he was doing all this, you know, the extent, you know, he's almost like a madman to a point, you know, to the extent of which he did in order to get his revenge. Those are all things that really haven't been displayed yet. I feel like this isn't exactly a spoiler because we already see, you know, quick flashbacks of things that actually happened to him, right? Except that didn't go into detail yet. So, you know, just to quickly recap that, basically Keyaru came to the capital. It was initially hailed as a hero, but you know, the princess, Flair, and whatnot, they had some other ideas about him. Not necessarily like the entire country against him, you know, not like Shiro in that way, but definitely, she was like, well, basically she has a very bitchy attitude. Let's just put it that way. All right. And then, because Keyaru's power had those sort of drawbacks, that kind of limitations, the princess decided to take things into her own hands. And as she said, she drugged him, brainwashed him in some sort of way in order to basically control him, right? So throughout that entire time, since Keyaru in the previous life got to the capital, all the way up to the fight with Demon Lord, whatever, that he had, he was entirely in basically a haze at that point. He had no real consciousness. He was basically like this disabled person, in fact. Couldn't really think straight. It was basically just, you could say he was mind controlled, basically, and was a target of a lot of abuse and so on and so forth. But then, he eventually gained poison resistance, so those drugs that were used to drug him did not work on him anymore. But even after that, right, he still waited for his time, and then at the most opportune moment decided to strike. And, striking there, some people would say, all right, maybe at that point, and then, I gain all my powers, I can definitely overpower all the rest of them, maybe just kill them right then and there and be done with it. No, the extent of his hatred towards Flare and towards the others, towards this world, towards the nation, was so deep that he chose to actually use the powers to redo everything, go back in time, and go through the entire experience once again, this time with him having full knowledge of the events that transpire, and deciding to carry on in that manner, right? So, that's definitely, this is just like a quick recap of things, and I don't think this is really spoiling, because if you guys look at the fragments of the flashbacks, you could pretty much piece that together as well. But as I said, what I'm really disappointed by is that we did not get into this really full-on, very, very, very dark side of Keyaru, how he was feeling, the amount of rage that was swelling up within him, the darkness that was within him, and that basically has consumed him at this point. Like, I mean, sure, we get that insidious smirk and all that, right? We see his his very villain-like smile and all that, but that is still really tame, right? And one of the things that really left a big impact on me was definitely the monologues that he had at that time, and the pure hatred that oozed out of him while he was talking about what happened and so on and so forth. So My best hope right now is that this does still carry on in episode 2, episode 3, and they're just choosing to, like, maybe I misremembered and really get into the details later on, but if not, well, I have to say, this is quite tame, right? And then there's not really that much else that I can say about it, because you need to go through all that in order to understand where Keyaru is coming from, and also to be able to, at least sympathize him a little bit better with stuff that he is eventually about to do, right? So I'm not going to get too far into that, though. That is definitely for the next episode, although we do see a little bit of it right at the beginning of this one as well. What about the rest of the, the fundamentals of this episode so far, right? The animation is definitely just passable, I would say. Although the magic animation kind of surprised me. It was, it was actually kind of neat and well done, right? You did kind of get the epicness of the magic being utilized and so on and so forth, right? The rest, well, we'll have to see from there. And like I said, if you do have, whatever feelings you have for Flare and whatnot, don't, I mean, you are supposed to hate her, don't get me wrong, but, well, let's just say that what's going to happen to her is probably what a lot of people wanted to happen to Melty, right? At least those who were a little bit more, let's say, morally ambiguous, if you will. So anyways, definitely not exactly off to the best start, but I could still be misremembering, and we'll go deeper into that, the details later on. I sincerely hope they do, because like I said, once again, it's really, really important. That's the biggest impact that this series could have had, and it really sets the tone for things later on, and how to understand Keyaru and his really kind of ironic relationship with Flare and eventually with the others as well. And I mean, when I'm saying things like this, we already kind of see what happened with him and the mate, right? So like I said, this is not exactly a series where, we have to be, we always have to be like, damn, the MC got cop blocked again, right? It's definitely not that kind of series, if you will. So, what do you guys think? It's definitely really tame for me, or are some of you guys already like, oh, this is definitely, kind of disgusting and whatnot, horrific, and so on and so forth. But to me, I'm just like, they really missed out a good opportunity to really send the shock value through. So, I'm definitely hoping for some more stuff in the second episode. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.